All right. This one is more of a funny video where I don't really have a main point that I'm trying to make or some crazy revelation. This is a storybook episode about my movie moments, about these three moments. And it's funny that I picked these three moments because they've actually been about three different girls, two of which I was in a relationship, and one of them where I was asking someone out. So I don't know why these movie moments only happen involving me and women, but maybe that says something about me. All right, let's do the first one first. We'll go back in time. So we'll start with the most recent and go backwards. This is the one where I was asking a girl out. So this is crazy. I mean, it's a movie moment. So basically, over a span of, I don't know how much context I want to give for this. I'll only give the context that's needed because a lot of it is probably unnecessary. But here we go. I had broken up with my ex, or she'd broken up with me. I even have an earlier episode on this channel about it before. So if you're more curious about that, listen to that. So we'd broken up for, I don't know, like 3 months at this point. And there was this other girl that I was interested in. And I've been interested for around a month. And it basically all culminated at this one evening. So this was very close to college graduation. It was like 2 or 3 days before the final day that I would be in Pittsburgh for college, before graduating and just leaving the city. And basically, I decided I was going to ask her out, the girl that I was interested in, around 2 or 3 days before. So the setup was me and the girl and some of our mutual friends were out. We had dinner and then we were going back. And basically another one of our friends was hosting something at his place. So I don't know why I decided to do it here at this time, but I was basically running out of time because I think I was planning on doing it earlier in the day and I just never got around to it, and I just always chickened out and pussied out and was like, this is not the right time. I don't know what to say. I'm gonna be so nervous, blah 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 blah. You get it, right? So I decided to strike at this moment. It was basically we were on the bus back from the restaurant place. We were going to go to our friend's place, and then we were still with our mutual friends who we went to dinner with. And then we got off the bus here, and then I was basically saying along the lines that, I need a Tide Pod because I had no more Tide Pods. I'd used them all up. I'd rationed it out so that I'd basically last the whole semester with the remaining Tide Pods I had without having to buy more. But I miscounted by 1 week. So I needed a last Tide Pod for my last bag of laundry. And I asked the girl that I was interested, can I borrow a Tide Pod? Borrow one. Can I just take a Tide Pod and use it? And she was like, yeah, sure, of course. So us two got off while the rest of our mutual friends continued on to go to our friend's place for the gathering. So me and the person I'm interested in, we go to her place. She gets me a Tide Pod. I'm like, so we go to her apartment, And then I'm like waiting in the door, and she's like looking around for a Tide Pod. And then when she gets it, she gives it to me, and then we're gonna like walk down and go to the friend's place. And then at this time, I'm like, okay, should I pop the question here? No. This is not a good place to do it. We're in like the hallway of the apartment. Okay, now we're in the elevator. Is this a good place? No, the elevator. There's too much volatility here. There's not enough time because we're just then gonna get out. Okay, now we're in the lobby of our apartment. Now we're walking out. Oh, someone's walking by. Okay, this is probably not a good time because there's just strangers all around. Okay, now we're walking to our friend's place. Our friend's place only lives like 10 minutes away. We have 10 minutes. The minutes are counting down. We're now only 9 minutes. Now we're only 8 minutes away. We're just, all the meantime, we're doing like some very small talk, just talking about whatever random things. Okay, fine. 8 minutes remaining. I popped the question. I stumbled through it. I had prepared and practiced a little bit more of what I wanted to say, but I was so nervous that I fumbled my words, and I don't know. It was not according to plan, man. I had a more elegant way of saying it, but okay. That's not the point. The point is I eventually said it in a fumbled kind of way, but I said it. And yeah, then me and this person, the person I'm interested in, the person that I ask, we need more time to like discuss it, because obviously this is what I've learned. If they don't say like yes right away, actually that doesn't mean anything, as you'll hear from my second movie moment. But I think a good rule of thumb is if they don't say yes right away, it's probably a no. And it's like maybe there'll be some time, but it'll eventually get to a no. Right? And it's because like if they don't say yes right away, then they clearly don't have like the same level of feelings as you do for them. And even if they do say yes, it clearly shows that you're feeling more for them than they're feeling for you, because they had to take some time to think about it and be like, is this worth it? So for this girl that I was interested in, I guess she was kind of in a gray zone, as I did learn from our talking. Like, she liked me also, but it wasn't enough, where it was like if this was a seesaw and one side was liking me as a friend and one side was liking me as somebody more, the part that was liking me as a friend was heavier, right? That's what she was saying, or what we eventually said. But the point was, it took some time for us to get there, because she was very hesitant, and I don't know, had more to say in like, didn't want me to feel bad, didn't want it to, she also wanted to talk about like how she felt and why she felt like maybe this wasn't the best idea. So the whole point is, I asked her like 8 minutes away, and then when we were around like 5 minutes away, basically, instead of going straight to our friend's place, we decided to just start walking around the block that's 1 block away from our friend's place. So we're just walking and talking about this, right? Okay, so all of this doesn't sound that crazy right now. This is just like, okay, this happens to everybody. Boy asks girl, sometimes it's a little complicated, but yeah, maybe they eventually get rejected or they actually get together, whatever, right? Yeah, this is what happened. So we're walking around the block, and we've been walking for like, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, because we had a lot to talk about. I was like talking about my feelings, about all the like lead up to it, what I was thinking, and trying to, I don't know, just, we were both talking about our feelings and about how we felt and why we thought this might be a good or bad idea, because I always try and be fair and always try and think like, I understand why you'd be hesitant, why this might not be a good idea. I can like recognize the possible downsides as well. And she was very receptive, and she wanted to talk about, I don't know, a lot of the same things, like how she felt about me, about the situation, and about, I don't know, how she wanted to go forward and possible things that could be in the way, right? So at some point in this conversation that we're having for like 10-15 minutes at least, we get to this issue. It's not even an issue. I mentioned my ex, because the point that I was trying to convey to this girl that I was interested in is that I'm not liking you just as a rebound. I'm not liking you just like, oh, I'm just trying to get over my ex, so that's why I'm asking you out, right? It's like I just want to rush right into another relationship. And I was trying to explain all the reasons why and explain that I'm not that kind of person, right? So I was talking about my ex a little bit and talking about, I don't know, some of the feelings that we had. And then I'm actually not sure exactly how talking about my ex translated to this point that I was trying to have, but I remember it made sense back then, and it made sense to her also, because she was like, she understood, and she was like, yeah, I know you as a person, you're not the type of person that would do that, so I understand. So anyway, the point is, we were talking about my ex. Now we're walking around the block, and we're walking down the block, and then there's this person walking up the block, and who is that? Guess that Pokemon. It's my ex. What? How does that happen? This is a movie moment right here. This is my movie moment. We're walking down. We literally just like 3 minutes before, we're talking about my ex, and I was like, yeah, this is not just a rebound. I actually like you. And and she was like, yeah, I understand that. And I completely believe you. And then we're like walking a bit more, and then who's walking up? Oh my goodness, it's my ex. Now keep in mind this whole thing, my ex has not been here in Pittsburgh this past 3 months. We broke up over FaceTime, okay? And it's because she graduated early and she was working already elsewhere. So she was coming back just because it was graduation, to also graduate in person. So this was literally exactly the time when she came back from her flight. And I guess I should mention that she lived like very close to where our friends get together is. So that's why she's like walking up the same block that we are. So she's walking up this block and we're walking down the block. And how awkward do you think that is? I'm walking with this girl that I'm interested in, and my ex and this girl have only met like one time, or I don't even know if they've actually met before. They like maybe heard of each other before. And I'm like the one common denominator here. It's just like, oh, fuck. Okay, I'm gonna bleep that out. Shit, I didn't mean to say her name. Oh, X, you're here. What? That's crazy. And I was like, what? And needless to say, it was a little bit awkward. I like hugged her because I don't know, we hadn't seen each other in a while, and like we didn't end on bad terms, right? So it would be weird if I just like stood there and didn't do anything with her. So I like gave her a hug. And then to make it more awkward, like she and the girl that I'm interested in, like I think they've only talked or never talked once or twice. Maybe we all have mutual friends, right? We have a lot of shared mutual friends, but like I don't think they've actually talked together like really ever. Like maybe they've been in the same group setting before, but they've like never talked with each other ever, I don't think. And then but I guess to alleviate the awkwardness too, they then hug together, And we're just like, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm just walking with my friend to our friend's get together thing. Um, so yeah, that's what I said. But it was very clearly a lie. Do you know why it's a lie? Because the block that we're walking down, it's going away from my friend, right? We're walking around a block that is like one block from my friend's place. And the direction that we're walking right now, this route that we're taking, it's clearly going away from my friend's place. So it was such a white lie, so easy to tell that it was not true, right? But she was just like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I heard about this. I was just gonna drop off my stuff." She was literally still bringing around her luggage, dude, and she was bringing her luggage to go back to her place, which is right near the friends get-togethers place, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to that afterwards." So we were like, "Yeah, all right, we'll see you there." And then she continued on and we continued on. Can you already imagine how awkward that is? And I want to. This is important why I said the context about the Tide Pod, okay? This whole time, the whole pretext of getting me and the girl that I was interested some alone time away from our other friends where we had dinner with was that, oh, I need to go to her place to pick up a Tide Pod. And I'm going to go back to my place, drop it off, and then we're going to go to the get together, right? This whole time, I'm holding onto this Tide Pod. And I don't know if you've ever held Tide Pods for a really long time when your hand is like warm, but like the Tide Pod like melts in your hand. I guess that's what Tide Pods do. That's what they're designed to do when they're in like washers. So it was melting in my hand. My hand is just like sticky. My hand is sticky with Tide Pod. And like I have to be careful when I'm giving a hug to my ex to like not pat her with Tide Pod. Like what is going on? That was a movie moment. I was like, how do all of these things come together in one thing? How is it that right as I'm walking down this block where I have a Tide Podded hand and I'm confessing to this girl that I'm interested in and we're walking and we're talking about our feelings and situations and stuff, and we had just talked about our ex like 2 minutes before, and we're walking and we literally come upon our ex, my ex. It's not her ex, just my ex. And we have this mega awkward situation where it's the most blatant of lies, where it's like, oh yeah, we're walking to our friend's place. Oh, the same get together that you were invited to because we're all mutuals. Yeah, we'll see you there. So let me finish this movie moment, this awkward story, because me and this girl that I'm interested in, we walk around the block again for another like 20-30 minutes, right? We have a lot to talk about. We're good talkers. We're good at just talking to each other and taking time at it, okay? But eventually we both are like, yeah, it's probably better if we aren't together. Even though I liked you a lot, it makes sense if you don't quite like me at the same level, if you still like me more as just a friend than not, that we shouldn't do this. And there are like a lot of good reasons to. And, you know, we all took it graciously and blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, all right, I'm going to, and then she was like, you know, the original plan was we're going to go to our friends get together. Remember this also. We had told our friends that we were together with, that we went to dinner with, that we're going to quickly go get the Tide Pod. I'm going to drop it off at my place, and then we're going to meet you at the get together. Max, this takes 15 minutes. We've been walking for like 50 minutes to an hour now, okay? Just walking and talking, having awkward meetings, and then walking and talking. So obviously, blatant lie. The ex knows something's up. The friends should know something's up because we've been walking for an hour. So at this point, when after we finish our talking, the girl that I was interested in and we were both going to go to the get together, she was like, "Do you want to still go to the thing?" And I was like, "Okay, I think it's going to be omega awkward and just weird if we go now because the friends that we went with know something's up. My ex who's going to be there, she knows something's up. I just don't want to deal with this. I think I'm going to sleep it off." And yeah, that's the end of the story. So I didn't go, but she went. The girl that I was interested in. And I guess I never asked her actually if it was super awkward for her and if people asked her. I think people asked her what happened and she was like talking to people, but I don't think she talked to my ex because she doesn't actually know any. She didn't really know my ex, right? And weren't like super close friends at all. So I don't know what my ex's reaction was, but I don't even know, dude. I think the main thing I want to stress here, what's the movie moment? It's unbelievable how me and this person that I'm confessing to were walking around. So just imagine the situation. Me, I'm confessing to another girl. And then my ex comes. We just run into each other. And then what makes it even more of a movie moment is that me and this girl were just talking about my ex just 2 minutes prior to this meeting. And of course, I have a Tide Pod in my hand. All the while, dude. Truly a movie moment of ridiculous degrees. Okay? My second movie moment that happened. This one is now with my ex. And again, this is a time of me asking her out, okay? So this time, this is me with my more recent ex, my second ex, I'll say that, because I've had 2 exes, okay? This is me with my second ex, and I'm asking her out. So we basically go, I guess you could call it a date. We go, I think, visit a museum together, and then we have like dinner together. And then the plan at the end was to watch a movie together at the end of the night. Okay? So set the scene. We're basically in this like common room area because this is like our freshman year in college. Okay? We're basically in this like kind of, it's more low-key, out of the way common room area. But this is where anybody can come in, right? If they have the key card access. So we decide to go in here because we look in and we see there's nobody there. And there's like a TV. There's like a couch we can use. So we're going to both sit on the couch and we're going to watch this movie on my laptop because that's where we're going to watch the movie. So set the scene. I don't even actually remember anymore. But I either asked her, so again, let's give some more context before what happened. Once again, just like this other first movie moment, I had like stuff, not a script, but just like bullet points of things I want to say to her. And of course, I got so nervous that I just like fumbled all my words and it was just like a garbled mess of what I said. So I like confessed and I was like, yeah, do you want to go out with me? Do you want to be like my girlfriend or whatever? And she was like, can I get back to you on that? So this is the reason why I'm asked, I need to clarify. It was either before we started watching the movie or we already started watching the movie for like an hour. And then I must have like gone to the bathroom or something and then came back and then was like, wait, I have something to tell you. Either way, I can't believe I decided to do it like this because this is just terrible planning on so many levels. If I decided to do it before the movie, like what was going to happen if she had rejected me? Were we still going to watch the movie? Did I just like completely ruin the movie night? If I had decided to do it in the middle of the movie, why did I do that? I can't even fathom why I had decided to do it, but I think that is the more likely scenario of what happened because we'll get to it. This is what happens. I ask her out, right? And she's like, "Can I get back to you on that?" Paraphrasing, but she says something along the lines of that. And then she goes and calls her friend for like 30 minutes. Okay, she goes and calls her friend for like 15 minutes, okay? And I'm out here watching the movie, okay? Actually, I don't even know if I'm watching the movie. I might just have the movie paused and I'm sitting on the couch. And she goes into another room that's like adjacent to this room that we're in. And she like closes the door and she like calls her friend for like 10 minutes. And basically, I mean, she told me later what she was talking about. It's like, she's like asking her friend, "What do I do? Should I say yes?" Blah, 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 along those lines, right? After she calls her friend, she then comes back and she's sitting on the couch and she still hasn't like made a decision yet, right? And then this is what I do remember. She's sitting on the couch. We're both sitting on the couch. She's like texting her friend and I'm watching the movie. Can you even imagine that? We're both sitting on the couch. She's on like one end. She's like texting. The movie's playing. I'm just sitting there. It's already been 10 minutes of her calling and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. Did I just am I rejected or is this going to happen? And now I'm just watching Spirited Away by myself while she's on the other end just texting for another 20 minutes. And this is why I think for some reason I asked her in the middle of the movie because I remember the movie ended. The movie ended. And then this is actually why it was at the end of the movie she was then like, "Okay, yeah, I'll go out with you." So I think I asked her in the middle of the movie. Why did I do that? I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I did that. This is like a movie moment of Dumb and Dumber. This is like, why did this guy have such L Riz? Why am I asking her in the middle of the movie? I don't know why I thought that, but the whole movie moment that I want to talk about was, please imagine this scene. Imagine you're watching this, okay? I asked this girl out in the middle of a movie. We like paused it. I came back from the bathroom or something like that. I asked her out. She goes and calls her friend for like 10 minutes. I'm like sitting there on the couch by myself, twiddling my thumbs. Oh, and this is the detail why I said this is like a common room area where anybody with keycard access can come in, is because I'm sitting there for like 10 minutes twiddling my thumbs, and then she comes back and we're watching the movie and she's sitting there, and then two people just like come into the room. So now we have this awkward situation. Imagine this. We're watching a movie. One person is clearly not watching the movie because she's on her phone texting her friend being like, "What should I do? This guy just asked me out." I'm just sitting here watching the movie, but I really don't want to watch the movie because I just asked her out and I'm not getting a response, and I'm just sitting here like, what am I doing with my life? Why did I do this? And then these two people just come into the room, and then they just come into the room. And then luckily they like come in, go into another adjacent room, and then close the door. But like these people come into the room and then they go out of the room again when it's still in this awkward situation. And the whole time I'm just thinking like, how did I get myself here? How did I get to this place where I'm asking someone out and I did it in the middle of a movie, and now we're sitting on the same couch and she hasn't said yes or no yet, and she's just texting her friend like right in front of me, and I'm for some reason just watching Spirited Away for another 30 minutes. That's a movie moment. That's like a dumb movie moment. That's like a What is this D grade ass movie? And what are these characters in this movie doing? I'd like to ask myself then, what am I doing there? What was I thinking? Why did I do that? I actually don't know why I did that. You know what's the craziest thing about making this a movie moment? She said yes afterwards. As I already said, she said yes. She became my girlfriend. How did that work? How did that work? I don't know how that worked. I don't know how that worked. Okay, the third movie moment. This is this time with my first ex. Okay? I need some movie moments that are not with girls, dude, because this is just... Okay. This movie moment with my first ex. Let's set the scene. The scene. My sister is moving to med school in SoCal. Okay? And basically, my parents are helping drive her down from where we live in Oregon down to California. So we're close enough and we can drive. And they're going to bring a lot of stuff. But for some reason, I think it was either like they wanted to pack the car or there was just like no reason for me to go, right? So the main point is I'm alone at home for like 2 to 3 days. And my parents are away with my sister and they're going to SoCal. So I'm alone. I am alone. And I have a girlfriend. And she comes over naturally, right? Okay. So this is the thing. My parents, I think, know what's up, right? Or they know what can be up, knowing that I have a girlfriend and I'm alone. So they're like, we're going to call like 2 times a day. We'll call you in like the morning and like the afternoon or something, just to check in with how you are and just to make sure that you're all right, okay? So this is what happens. My girlfriend comes over and let's say we do stuff, okay? We don't do virginity breaking stuff, but we do other baseball field bases stuff, okay? I'll just leave it as that. Anyway, we wait, you don't even need to know that. Okay, we do stuff anyway, and we're like in my bedroom, and the point is she gives me a hickey, okay? I don't know if you know what a hickey is. Hickey is like, it's basically a bruise, and it's like pretty prominently, like it's not quite on my neck, but it's like near my, you know, like collarbone, shoulder blades area, like on my chest a little bit. And the point is she gives me a hickey there, and the shirt that I'm wearing is kind of loose. So you can like kind of see down there. Anyway, we're like doing stuff. And then my parents call, okay? So, and we're in the middle of doing stuff when my parents call. So we stop, I pick up the phone, and I basically close my door, right? Because she's in my bedroom. So I close the door, I go downstairs, and I like pick up the phone. And it's like a FaceTime call. And I call with my parents, and it's like, yeah. And I remember what happened was my parents were going to say something about like one of the procedures they told me to do was like at certain times to like open the curtains or close the curtains like on all of the upstairs bedrooms. It was like to let air in or to like not let air in when it's nighttime so it doesn't like get super cold. So anyway, they were telling me to like go to each bedroom while I was on a FaceTime call to do this. And basically, I was trying to play it off as much as possible. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Because, note, I cannot go into my bedroom because my girlfriend is there. And my parents had said, no, she shouldn't come over. Like, they pretty explicitly said that. So, like, I'd be in big trouble if that happened, right? So I was trying to play it off as naturally as possible. So, I don't know. I did my best filibuster talk as much as possible. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll do that. Honestly, I think my parents suspected something, but they were too reserved, nice, restrained to actually like call me out on it. So lucky for me, I didn't have to go into my bedroom, and then I just went back downstairs and we like were calling, right? Well, then this is the part where then they're like, "Do you want to talk to your sister?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I talked to my sister, and she sees my hickey, and basically she says like some loaded comment, and then later texts me about it. She's like, "Oh," I forgot what she said, but I remember I knew from talking with her that she knew, and she was like, "Bruh." She was giving me the biggest bruh, and I don't even know if bruh was like a thing that people said back then. And she was giving me the bruh. This one isn't even really that much of a movie moment, but I just wanted to throw it in there. The first one, maybe you can decide if you want, but out of these three, like this is a kind of movie moment. This would be like the action movie one where I like maneuver my way around and I'm like a lawyer and I manage to fight off my parents trying to look inside my bedroom, and I'm like, yeah, no, I can't do it right now. You can't. Of course I'll do it later. And I like escape by the skin of my teeth, only to then be slammed into the ground by my sister, who's like, bruh, you got a hickey? And she's like, bruh, I see what's up. So, yeah. Tell me what you think of these three movie moments. Have you had movie moments? Because that first one is a true movie moment in my life. I don't know how all those circumstances just aligned for that to happen. And when it happened, literally me and the girl that I was asking out, we were both like, what just happened? How did all of these circumstances align for this to happen? We were like, this is unbelievable. This is a movie moment in our lives. And the second one, maybe it's not as much of a bruh of a movie moment, but I don't even know what I was talking about. This is a movie moment of, what is this character doing? And then the third one was just like, yeah, I don't even know if the third one counts, but hopefully you enjoyed this episode of stories of interesting and fun, silly stories that happen in my life.